This place is crazy.
We are the self-proclaimed polar bear capital of the world.
It's like it recognized me as prey.
Aurora is as close to magic as anything we have here on it.
It's everywhere. I don't know which way to turn my head.
People come here for the polar bears, and then they are blown away by our beluga whales. When you leave the house and you head out on our one road out of town, you really never know what you're going to encounter.
When you think of a polar bear photograph, you probably don't imagine a bear framed in the golds and reds of an Arctic autumn. But that's exactly what I'm in Churchill to find. I'm joining a guided photography expedition led by my good friend, Drew Hamilton.
Thomas, do you copy, Thomas?
So Churchill is a small town nestled right at the mouth of the Churchill River on the western shore of Hudson Bay. It's the self-proclaimed polar bear capital of the world.
I've lived in the north all of my life, but I was immediately mesmerized by the stark beauty hidden on these shores. Finding a polar bear in fall colors is hard enough as it is, but I have a vision for something even more elusive, a never-before-seen image of a polar bear under the northern lights. The best way to achieve this shot is by using a camera trap, a weather-sealed camera system triggered by an infrared sensor. While the guides scout for animals, Drew and I set up for that unlikely shot.
All right, so I was scouting out areas. Drew was showing me a few different spots where there are kind of these natural funnels to work with, but feeling pretty good about this spot and hoping for a bear to pause in front of this composition, give me a nice turn. It's really just such a shot in the dark. We'll get this set up and get going looking for polar bears.
The rest of the group has radioed in. They've already spotted polar bears on the coast. I'm used to spending days, sometimes weeks, looking for an animal. But this time, my first look at a polar bear was right in front of me.
It's so incredible being out here with these polar bears, seeing them for the first time. It's just kind of surreal. Hope they just stood up. Okay, this is beautiful.
So it looks like this cub is probably about 1.5 years old. The wind has just shifted, and it's really been kind of fascinating to watch her gathering new data as she's sticking her nose up into the wind.
They really do just a lot of sniffing around. Oh, look at that adorable cub.
But why did these bears return to Churchill? Why not go further north?
We are the first place on Hudson Bay where the ice will start to build up again in any significant way. And so the bears know this. They show up in this area anticipating being able to get right back out on the ice.
Polar bears spend a majority of their lives on the sea ice, and they're relying on that sea ice for their food source. Especially ringed seals that they really like, and ringed seals, they're denning on sea ice. So the polar bears are only going to come on shore when they have to. There are subpopulations of polar bears that have been experiencing decline, and Western Hudson Bay is one of those subpopulations. Through the early 2000s, there were somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 polar bears. In a 2021 survey, there were 618. That's a big drop. We have a pretty good physical explanation for why that might happen, and that's habitat loss. Looking at Hudson Bay, there's almost a month longer that's ice-free today compared to what there was back in the 1980s. And that is a substantial change over the course of just a few decades.
Although these changes present a formidable problem, polar bears have summered in Churchill long before the reduction of Hudson Bay sea ice, slowing their metabolism and scavenging for food. In other words, this coastline is part of their home too. As we encounter more bears, my awareness of this population's vulnerability makes me more careful not to disturb them, especially when cubs are involved.
We're just trying to use a really slow, cautious approach.
But the balancing act between getting close to an animal and respecting that animal is a challenge inherent to my profession.
In the wildlife photography industry, there is this push to get the next best thing or to get closer or things like that, is everybody wants that picture of a bear walking towards them. But then people also have a tendency to just want to rush right up on a bear, like get as close as possible. And those two shots don't go together. So if you're feeling the need to get as close as you can to that bear, one, it's not necessarily constructive for the bear, but you're not going to get the shot you want. In order to get that shot, you need to back up. Don't be where you want the bear to be.
It wasn't long until we found a lone bear traversing the coastal road, allowing us to predict its movement and have a chance for an ethical close encounter. We parked further up the road, set up our gear, and waited.
That was so crazy. It was just so cool to see one so big up close. Just the look it gave me. I mean, it's like it recognized me as prey, and that the guides here even had to start banging a couple rocks to get it to keep going on its way. I mean, I don't think he would have given us trouble, but he was seriously curious about us and not really sure what to do with us. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. Thought we were going to be able to get another view of him, but he just took a little dip out in the ocean, and who knows where he's going to end up.
I haven't yet achieved my objective of photographing a bear in vivid fall colors, but it's time to take to the waves and explore the other secrets Churchill has in store. Polar bears are so tightly linked to the marine ecosystem that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has actually classified them as marine mammals. But these aren't the only white marine mammals that thrive in Hudson Bay.
People come here for the polar bears, and then they are blown away by our beluga whales. There are about 3,500 to 4,000 beluga whales that'll use our little estuary here, and they are seeking us out. You know, they're just as curious as we are.
I can see him so well.
Oh my god. He's right there.
You can't look at these beluga whales and not have a deep connection. I like to think it's at least an entertaining portion of their day. And when you are watching beluga whales, you are the happiest person on earth.
That was incredible. So we just had a big pod of belugas swim right under our Zodiac, and then we just ran into 2 polar bears just right here around the peninsula, taking naps, lifting their heads up. This place is crazy.
Churchill is not just an incredible place for whales and bears, it's also a world-class aurora location. With a promising forecast ahead, I decided to double-check my camera trap settings to optimize for an aurora shot just in case a bear walked by. Drew cleared the area of bears, but at this point we were well aware of how active the bears were on these coastal rocks. We needed to get in and get out.
Aurora is as close to magic as anything we have here on Earth.
Had a polar bear triggered my camera trap at this very moment, it could be the shot of a lifetime. But to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about the bears. When you stand surrounded by this miracle of nature, it becomes impossible to think about anything else.
This is crazy. So we're directly underneath the aurora oval, and this is the first time I've seen it form 360 degrees around us in every possible direction, and eventually it just erupts into these ribbons and pillars. We're getting some really nice corona overhead. You just get these really cool structures starting to dance above you. We're just getting constant color nonstop. I'm having a hard time picking a composition because it's everywhere. I don't know which way to turn my head. I would love to get a good shot. I'm always searching for a good photo, but at some point I just have to put the camera down and just watch and see what's happening, because even a really fast shutter speed isn't quite enough to pick up some of that motion. It's kind of hypnotic.
I think there are people out there who are legitimately addicted to aurora. And I am one of them. Hello, I am Drew. My name is Drew. And I am an aurora addict. Yeah.
The following morning, I couldn't shake the hope that a polar bear had wandered by my camera trap during the brilliant aurora display of the previous night. Countless photographers have tried for that shot, and what a shot it would be.
It's a moment of truth. There were a few flashes going off. Doesn't look like I got anything.
It was disappointing, but with my time in Churchill coming to an end, I had to pull the camera trap. But I came here with another shot in mind, and there's still just enough time to look for a polar bear in fall colors before catching my flight home. As usual, it just required a little bit more patience and luck. Appearing far in the distance, this curious bear just got closer and closer. The diffused sky cast a gentle light on the golden willow bushes surrounding us, and I positioned myself above a foreground of crimson bearberries. I couldn't have planned a better shot. Thanks to our guides, experts in bear behavior, I could safely witness this gem of Churchill, Manitoba.
There is this cloud that hangs over polar bears in general, and people are associating them with the negative impacts of climate change.
I think it's a gray area about whether Hudson Bay gets to a point where it transitions to no longer being able to support polar bears. But to end on a very optimistic note, I was just talking about Hudson Bay. There is currently no good evidence that polar bears go extinct because of the climate change that humans are projected to produce. And that is a very optimistic thing to be able to say.
People look for themselves in bears. They're wanting desperately to connect on that level. Once they have that connection, then suddenly these bears are something that means something to them. Suddenly these bears are something worth saving. It's not an easy place to get to, but it's a place that stays with you. So for anybody who's thinking about taking the effort to get here, I just say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Polar bears, we invite your stares. Please look us in the eye and don't say goodbye. We just want a shot. I know that's asking a lot. Stop making me laugh. Wait, gotta start. Cut.
Hey guys, I just wanted to mention some really exciting projects that I have in the works, some of which include remote expeditions to document the last woodland bison population in all of the United States. We would also love to document the sea wolf population over in southeastern Alaska. There's also an incredibly unique freshwater seal population over in Lake Iliamna. It's one of the few populations that stays in freshwater year-round in the entire world. So these are all incredibly ambitious projects, and a like, share, subscribe on YouTube would really go a long way. I also have a Patreon linked in the description below with exclusive behind-the-scenes content as well as discounts on my print store. So go check those out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.